I'm excited to introduce our next speaker, Bobbie Sue Wolk. She's been here in Alaska over 25 years. She is a tremendous person, partly because she's married to a friend of mine, Mr. Wolk in the back, but also because I just have incredible respect for her and really appreciated growing in my friendship with her. She has started a business, Rosewood Coaching, and this business started out as an accounting firm, and she's grown it over the years into an executive coaching firm. So she's got incredible wisdom as it relates to individuals and professionals, and so we're going to get to learn some about that, but also from her experience as, businesses grow and change as they develop, and so she'll share some of her wisdom there as she's growing her business. So I'm excited to hear from Bobbie Sue, and I'm certain you all will be too.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here. Remind me at the end, I have some brochures to pass out. It's not for sales, it's just to teach you more about executive coaching if you don't know about it, because I want to, because some people understand about coaching, some people don't, but I started my accounting business 20 years ago, and I totally stumbled into entrepreneurship. I'm a UAA alumni and majored in accounting, and to be really honest, I was 26 years old, went back to college, late I thought, and had to take student loans out, needed a job in 4 years, which turned out 5-year plan, and so I chose accounting only because I needed a job at the end of the college career. But it has served me very well. And so then I got a job I loved, but I had a boss who I didn't love or didn't love me. And so I was working at a company for about 2 years and not all that happy with my relationship with my boss. And I got a call out of the blue from a fellow student, accounting student, and she goes, "What are you doing?" I said, same old, same old. And she goes, "You should start your own business." I'm like, can't start my own business. I wouldn't know the first thing to do. And she's like, "Well, I'll teach you." And I'm like, "Well, why would you teach me? Because you're an accountant. That means I'm going to be competing against you." And she says, "No, you won't. There's so much work out there." And literally, this gal, I didn't know her very well then. She was my angel. We'd meet for lunch. She told me what computer to buy, where to buy desks, buy these little books of starting your bookkeeping business at home. And anyway, just walked me through it. And ignorance was bliss then. I didn't have a business plan. I mean, I didn't. And I did it wrong, but I love it. And I think maybe what I love most is not having to set an alarm most mornings, but lately that's been changing. But anyway, so that started, and I just so enjoy the journey. So I first started when I became an accountant. I thought I had to dress like an accountant, so I went and got some business suit dresses and slacks, and I bought my briefcase, and I'd show up looking like an accountant. And I'm thinking, this is so not me. Finally, it was that thing of just, again, what I would like to encourage all of you is be you. My husband's always saying that, just be you, because I get nervous and scared. My stomach now is rumbling a little bit. But just be you. And so finally, I just put back on my fleece and my Eddie Bauer and my REI and just decided that was me. Then people would call me on the phone, and they'd go, "Oh, I heard about you, I got your name." And I'm like, and literally I did this. "You're not expecting an accountant, are you?" And they're like, "I just want you to know, if you're expecting someone with briefcases and a suit, it's not me." But anyway, it turned out that was really one of the things that really helped my business grow I was not the accountant type. And I still am not the accountant type, which finally, many years later, I found my passion, which is in coaching. I went back and got my master's degree 7 years ago. I started in industrial organizational psychology, sort of thinking it'd be a nice balance between my business background and psychology, which I love. Then I learned about executive coaching, went back and got certified in coaching. And I remember there, again, Jana, my angel, she goes, "Gosh, it sounds really cool, Bobbie Sue, but how are you going to find work?" No idea, none. I said, "But this is what I feel like I need to do, and I'm loving it." So I said, "It's not my job." It was truly a feeling of pulling. This is what and I said, if there's no job, and Rick's was great, he goes, "If you never make a penny on coaching, that's fine." And he goes, "You're loving what you're doing, just follow this dream." And so now I really feel I found what I love to do. So we are talking about teams, And again, we have a relatively short amount of time, so I'm going to kind of cover 3 areas and then kind of fill in the gaps and tell some stories as we go. I want to just talk about being a leader of a team. I want to talk about EQ versus IQ. EQ is emotional intelligence, and personality assessments. That back note, that I'm so embarrassed that I really did not intend you guys to get an 8 by 10 glossy of my face. I really was just horrified because I really, like you said, they said send what send stuff, for the book. And I know like press releases, they said to send a picture. I always send a picture. And so, I don't know what they were going to do with it, but I certainly did not think. So your first impression of me, I'll autograph it. No, I'm kidding. I'm so sorry. That's kind of not how I want to present myself. So that.
At least it's a nice picture.
Yeah, thank you. But anyway, that was not my intention. So teamwork or team members building the team. Who is the first member of your team?
You.
Will you point to that person? Do you see what you guys did? None of you did this. You know all this stuff. You're learning all this stuff. Some of you are already in business. Some of you are in start business. Some of you have had many businesses, but you lead from your heart. That is that's your. You know the stuff here, but when you say, well, "Who am I?" You're this. You're not this. And where Al was talking about ubiquitous and all the big words, I had just one story to tell before we talk more about teams. I was in a master coaching class, and there was 10 women from around the world. It just happened to be women who went. One was from Lebanon, one was from Portugal, Canada. They all had doctorates. One was a best-selling author. One was a PhD and MD. I have a master's, which I'm very proud of, but I was a little intimidated, because these women are brilliant. And so one of the PowerPoints, the teacher was talking about his coach, and it said something about something was ornithological. And I'm smart, and I think I know enough words, but I'm thinking, ornithological, what does that mean? But of course, I didn't want to embarrass myself, or so I thought. But Ida, who's from Portugal, was sitting next to me, and every once in a while she'd whisper, what does that mean? Because English is her second language. So I thought, well, if I don't know the word, she probably doesn't know it either. So I finally raised my hand, kind of feeling stupid, but I said, what's ornithological mean? The instructor didn't know. And she goes, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I said, you should be. But she grabbed someone else's PowerPoint, starts teaching it. The interesting thing was not one person in that classroom knew what ornithological was. So the teacher says, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. What is it? All these brilliant women. Nobody knew. And it's something to do with holistic coaching or something. It's not important. But again, I just love that story about the words. Don't be you when you have in front of your bankers, in front of your business team, board of directors. Be you. And if you have questions, you don't need to know it all. That's one thing I learned with accounting. I was always thought I should know everything. And then now when people would ask, it's like, I don't know, but I can find out for you. I'll get back with you. And no one expects you to know everything. But you, being the first member of your team, are you a good team member? Would you hire you? Do you show up at work on time? If I'm going to meet you at 9, are you going to be at 9 or 9:15? Really, now is the time to really pay attention, of your own work ethic, what you're going to bring to your team, the table. In the handouts, the 4 quadrants of emotional intelligence, that's what we're going to focus on today, mostly. I gave you some other things to take home and read, because again, teamwork, you can't do that in 45 minutes. But when you look at the emotional intelligence quadrants, it starts with self-awareness, goes to self-management, social awareness, and then relationship management and managing others. When I work with executives, they want to go right to managing others without paying attention to themselves first. And I said, no, we're going to start with self-awareness, self-management. And they're like, oh, no, I'm pretty self-aware. But then you find some, like I had dealings with a brilliant coach, a brilliant executive, but he has anger issues. And a lot of us, there's something we have, but his is anger. That can derail his career, and in front of a team, if you know so anyway, self-awareness. Okay, if you first aware, I have anger issues. That's just one example. Then you learn what triggers my anger. And you slowly start dissecting and excavating your own information about yourself to learn to manage yourself. Because if you can't manage yourself, you're not going to be able to manage others. You want to be the example. As a leader, and this is, research has shown, you're going to be watched 24/7. You walk in the door, you have 1 employee, 5 employees, they're watching you. If you think it's okay for you to do an hour of Facebook a day at work, so are they. So really, you have to hold yourself to the highest standard and really just acknowledge that. And people, I don't think leaders like to know that, or even no, but it is true. What do you think the #1 characteristic of an excellent leader is? And this is through research in the Gallup organization.
Integrity.
Listening, integrity. Communication. Empathy.
Yay.
#1, empathy. Again, that talk about leading from your heart. And so there we go to IQ versus EQ. IQ, until recently, it's been considered relatively stable throughout our lifetime. Everyone here, I promise, your IQ is all A-okay or you wouldn't be here. IQ gets you in the door of business, opens door for you, you have your basic level of intelligence. EQ is something that we grow throughout our lifetime. Some people are naturally very emotionally intelligent, but the good news, others aren't. Others are sorely lacking in social skills. But the good news is it can be learned and practiced and improved. And that's where executive coaching comes in mostly, is really helping people in their emotional intelligence skills where there might be lacking and how to change that. It's not an easy fix, however. Like we use the anger issue. You could go to an anger management class for one day or an emotional intelligence class and have all these great things you're going to, like after this, okay, we have an hour. You might say, I'm going to make these changes starting today. But you get back into your busy life and you kind of forget. So coaching is kind of holding each other accountable. I believe, again, there's all kinds of leadership, but you as a team member is to have a coaching, hold your team members accountable, hold yourself accountable, hold each other accountable. In the workplace, again, research has shown this, I love research, but anyway, what do you think the ratio of positive to negative comments should be? You have a leader, let's say you're the team leader. Do you just point out what's going wrong? Do you tell people what they've done what? What is it?
4-to-1.
3-to-1. 5-to-1 for marriages. 5 positive, and this is a guy named John Gottman has done a ton of research on what makes a happy marriage. 5 positives to 1 negative. Workplace, 3-to-1, and that was by Barbara Fredrickson, who has done a lot of work and research on positivity. But think about it, and actually most of the executives I've worked with, they say, oh, got to work on that. Got to work on that one. But you think about it, if I've called you out on all this great stuff you're doing, and then all of a sudden I say, you could really do this a little better, you're going to listen. Because I'm not just putting you down all the time or just only calling out on problems. David Cooperrider is a coach, and he did his research called appreciative inquiry. And what you appreciate appreciates. If you only deal with problems, you're going to have a problem organization. He believes, and I love this, when you start a meeting, and tell me, when you guys go to your business meetings, do you celebrate your successes? Do you start with the rock? Look at what we did this week. What are we doing great? And he believes we have something we do really well and really excellent. So as a suggestion as a business leader, as your team leader, when you start your business meetings, start stuff positive. What are we doing really well? Let's focus on that. Of course, it says focus on the positives, manage for weaknesses. Of course, you have to deal with problems, but make it a fun place to be at work. There was a woman who had